Understanding cognitive biases, overcoming irrational thinking. Welcome to Positive Vortex, your trusted destination for delving into the intricacies of the human mind, self-discovery, and personal growth. Today, we embark on an illuminating journey into the captivating world of cognitive biases. These biases are the subtle but powerful forces that influence our perceptions and decision-making, often leading us down the path of irrational thinking. By gaining a deep understanding of these cognitive quirks, we can equip ourselves with the tools to make more informed and rational choices in all aspects of life. Human cognition is a remarkable and complex system, but it's not without its flaws. Cognitive biases are the hidden shortcuts, biases, and patterns of thought that affect our judgment, sometimes in ways we aren't even aware of. They can lead us to conclusions that may not align with objective reality, and their impact extends to virtually every facet of our lives, from personal relationships to financial decisions. In this comprehensive video, we'll venture into the intriguing realm of cognitive biases, examining their prevalence and influence. Through a series of engaging lessons, real-life examples, and practical strategies, we aim to empower you to not only recognize these biases but also to overcome them, ultimately leading to more rational, well-informed, and empowered decision-making. Lesson 1. The influence of cognitive biases. Exploration. This lesson serves as an introduction to cognitive biases, highlighting their pervasive presence in our everyday lives. We'll explore the various cognitive biases and delve into the extensive body of research that underscores their influence on human thinking and decision-making. Cognitive biases are systematic patterns of deviation from normal rationality and judgment, often affecting the way we process information and make decisions. The study of cognitive biases has been a cornerstone of psychology and behavioral economics for decades, with a wealth of empirical evidence demonstrating their prevalence and impact. Researchers such as Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky have conducted groundbreaking work in this field, earning Kahneman a Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences for his contributions. Cognitive biases come in many forms, from confirmation bias, where we seek out information that confirms our existing beliefs, to the availability heuristic, which leads us to overvalue readily available information. These biases often lead us to conclusions that may not align with objective reality and can have far-reaching consequences in our personal and professional lives. Example. An illustrative example of cognitive bias is the confirmation bias. Numerous studies have shown that people tend to selectively seek out and favor information that confirms their pre-existing beliefs while ignoring or discounting contradictory evidence. For instance, in a study conducted by Nickerson in 1998, participants were presented with information on a controversial topic and were more likely to choose and accept information that supported their existing views, even when presented with credible counterarguments. This bias can result in a distorted view of reality, hindering our ability to make rational and well-informed decisions. Lesson 2. The availability heuristic. Exploration. The availability heuristic is a cognitive bias where we overestimate the importance of information that is readily available to us. We'll explore how this bias influences our judgments and decisions, examining the psychological mechanisms at play and the extensive research that has elucidated its effects. The availability heuristic, a concept introduced by Tversky and Kahneman in their seminal work, describes how people tend to make judgments about the likelihood of events based on the ease with which relevant examples come to mind. This mental shortcut often leads to judgments that may not accurately reflect the actual probabilities of events. Understanding the availability heuristic is crucial because it can profoundly impact our perceptions and decisions. Example. A classic example of the availability heuristic is its influence on risk perception. Imagine hearing about a rare but highly publicized event, such as a shark attack or a plane crash, in the news. Subsequently, you may become more anxious about swimming in the ocean or flying on a plane, even though the statistical likelihood of experiencing such events is exceedingly low. The readily accessible information from news reports can lead to an inflated perception of the risks involved, highlighting the cognitive bias's impact on our judgments. This bias is not limited to isolated examples but permeates various aspects of our lives, from decision-making in finance to assessments of health risks. It's essential to recognize its influence and apply strategies to mitigate its effects. Lesson 3. Anchoring and adjustment. Exploration. The anchoring bias involves relying too heavily on the first piece of information encountered when making decisions. We'll delve into how this bias impacts our choices, explore the psychological mechanisms behind anchoring, and examine strategies to overcome its influence. Anchoring and adjustment, a cognitive bias that plays a significant role in decision-making, was first explored by Tversky and Kahneman in their 1974 paper. The bias occurs when individuals rely too heavily on the initial information, or anchor, presented to them when making subsequent judgments or decisions. They then make adjustments from that initial anchor, which can result in systematic errors in judgment. Understanding this bias is pivotal in making more rational choices. Example: in negotiations, the anchoring effect is often vividly demonstrated. The initial offer or asking price frequently serves as an anchor, exerting a powerful influence on the final agreed-upon price. If a seller starts with a high asking price, even if it's arbitrary, the buyer's counteroffer will typically be lower than if a lower anchor were initially presented. This phenomenon illustrates how the anchoring bias can lead to deviations from rational and fair decisions. The anchoring effect extends beyond negotiations and can be observed in various contexts, including pricing strategies, courtroom decisions, and even everyday choices. Recognizing this bias is the first step in mitigating its impact and making more informed judgments. Lesson 4: Dunning-Kruger effect. Exploration. The Dunning-Kruger effect is a cognitive bias where individuals with low ability at a task overestimate their ability, while those with high ability may underestimate it. We'll delve into the consequences of this bias, explore the psychological underpinnings of the effect, and discuss strategies to recognize and address it. The Dunning-Kruger effect is a fascinating cognitive bias that uncovers how individuals with low competence in a specific domain tend to overestimate their ability, while those with higher competence may underestimate it. This bias, which is a consequence of metacognition, can have significant ramifications in areas such as self-assessment, decision-making, and problem-solving. Example: the Dunning-Kruger effect is strikingly illustrated in workplace dynamics. An employee with limited experience or expertise may exhibit unwarranted overconfidence in their abilities, leading them to make decisions or take actions that are not in the best interest of their organization. On the other hand, a highly skilled and experienced colleague might doubt their abilities and hesitate to contribute effectively to the team. This real-world example emphasizes the practical implications of the Dunning-Kruger effect on personal and professional interactions. The Dunning-Kruger effect is not confined to the workplace. It can be observed in various domains, including education, health, and even interpersonal relationships. Recognizing this bias and its consequences is essential for promoting accurate self-assessment and fostering effective decision-making. Lesson 5: Overcoming cognitive biases. Exploration. This lesson is dedicated to strategies for overcoming cognitive biases. We'll explore critical thinking, self-awareness, and techniques to challenge and reevaluate our biases, leading to more rational and well-informed decision-making. The importance of these strategies in countering cognitive biases is supported by a wealth of research and expert opinions. Example: by practicing self-awareness and critical thinking, individuals can actively work to identify and counteract cognitive biases. For instance, when faced with a decision, one can pause and reflect on whether any cognitive biases might be influencing their judgment. By applying critical thinking skills, they can systematically evaluate the evidence and potential biases, leading to more rational and well-informed choices. This process aligns with research on metacognition, which emphasizes the role of self-awareness in mitigating cognitive biases. Throughout this video, we'll provide numerous real-life examples, expert insights, and practical exercises to help you recognize and overcome cognitive biases. By the end, you'll be better equipped to navigate the complexities of the human mind and make more rational and informed decisions in your personal and professional life. If you find this video enlightening and valuable, please show your support by giving it a thumbs up, sharing it with your friends and social networks, and subscribing to Positive Vortex for more self-help content that empowers you on your journey of self-discovery. Thank you for joining us, and let's embark on this enlightening exploration of cognitive biases, where understanding and overcoming these biases can lead to more rational and well-informed thinking.